Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Welcome to Footprints on a Friday.
That's a bit weird. Why are we doing
Why is it
footprints
Friday?
on Friday, Robin?
It's because they're not at school.
Okay, they're not, but they haven't. But some of them haven't been at school for very long, for a
Okay,
few weeks.
alright,
So why
yeah.
are we doing footprints on Friday today?
Well, keep watching and you might find out.
Okay.
Well, I hope you did enjoy the small time that you did have at school.
Yeah.
And I hope you're looking forward to having a break over Easter. There's a hint about what we might be doing today.
I think it might be. Yeah. So I think it's probably time to pray.
Let's pray,
Yeah.
everyone together,
Before we get started.
to start with.
Dear Jesus, today can be a very strange day with very mixed feelings and maybe some confusing thoughts. We call it Good Friday, but we know it is a day when we remember your death, which should mean it is Bad Friday. Your followers must have felt like it was the worst day in their lives. However, we know that your death meant that we can be saved from the bad things that we do, as you took the punishment for us. Please help us to understand more about the sacrifice that you made, the sacrifice you made because you love us. Help us to think more about this story, Lord, about why you did this. Help us to understand much more deeply and guide us today.
Amen. Now it's time for a song. Jesus is the rock of my salvation. Jesus is the rock of my salvation. Jesus is the rock, he's the rock of my salvation, and he rolls my worries away. Jesus is the rock of my salvation. Jesus is the rock of my salvation. Jesus is the rock of my salvation, and he rolls my worries away. Build on the rock that ever stands. Build on the rock, to build your life on the sand. Jesus is the rock of my salvation. Jesus is the rock of my salvation. Jesus is the rock, he's the rock of my salvation, and he builds my worries away. Jesus is the rock of my salvation. Jesus is the rock of my salvation. Jesus is the rock, he's the rock of my salvation, and he rolls my worries away. Build on the rock that never stands. Build on the rock, to build your life on the sand. Oh, Jesus is the rock of my salvation. Jesus is the rock of my salvation. Jesus is the rock of my salvation, and he rolls my worries away. Jesus is the rock of my salvation. Jesus is the rock of my salvation. Jesus is the rock of my salvation, and he rolls my worries away. And he rolls my worries away. And he rolls my worries away. And he rolls my worries away.
Well, last Sunday we heard the story of Palm Sunday,
Yes.
and Lola and Neve showed us how to make palm sundaes. I hope you were able to make some of those yourselves and enjoyed eating them. But today is Good Friday, and traditionally we eat hot cross buns on Good Friday, don't we? I know my children absolutely look forward to eating hot
It's a
cross
bit
buns.
like mince pies at Christmas. We start weeks before Christmas eating mince pies. We start weeks before Easter eating hot cross buns.
But today, Toby is going to show us how to make some cheap hot cross buns. And I think actually homemade hot cross buns are so much nicer than the shop bought ones. So let's see how Toby
Over
makes
to you,
his.
Toby.
Today we're making hot cross buns, and the stuff you need is a packet of white bread, 1 teaspoon of mixed spices, 75 grams of castered sugar, and 1 egg, and 80 grams of mixed fruit, and melted butter, and 50 grams of melted butter. Now we're going to mix them all together and put them in this bowl. So first we're going to do the egg. There's the egg. And this. Put it in. And the sugar. Raisins. Now, last but not almost last, melted butter. Ooh. And oh. That's it. Now we're going to mix it all together. Try not to make it spill out too. Now we've mixed it all in, we're going to look at the bread packet, and it says to add 310 millilitres of water and a tablespoon of oil, which we've got here. So I'm going to pour this in. Make sure you put it in. Whoa. Now, be careful when you do this. Don't think I've got enough. A little bit more. There. Now I'm going to carry on mixing it until it goes doughy. So do this for a little while until it gets quite doughy. Before you start kneading it, if it's quite wet and not doughy enough, just add some more bread flour and then you can start kneading it. But we've started kneading it already, so just keep doing that for a little while until you think it's ready. Once you've kneaded it for 10 minutes, put it in a bowl, and put it somewhere warm. It could be anywhere. While your bread is rising for the hot cross buns, gather up 4 cold tablespoons of water and 75 grams of plain flour, and then mix it together and put it in this, and then put a cross on your hot cross bun, and then you can cook it. Now we're going to split this into 12 buns. I'm going to show you it in a minute. So we split it up into 12 now, and we put the paste on in the sign of the cross, and now we're going to put it in the oven, but I hope it will be delicious in the end. So we'll put it in for 15 minutes. One of them, by the looks of it, is connected to another one. Now we've taken that out, and we're going to put something over it. We've got 2 tablespoons of hot water in here and 40 grams of sugar, and we're going to put it over like this. Just get it around the top, around the cross, and we'll do that for the same for all of them. So here's one of our hot cross buns, and it must be delicious, and I'm ready to eat it. It's actually not too bad.
Thank you very much, Toby.
They looked delicious, didn't they?
They
Robin?
did rather,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. We hope that you can make some hot cross buns just like Toby's of your own. And do let us know with a picture or just an email. So let us know how they turn out.
I think we're going to make some of our own as well, aren't we?
Oh yes,
Yeah,
we love hot
we will
cross
do.
buns. Last week we learnt how to make a donkey by painting our feet. And Angelica has sent us in a picture. Have a look at this.
Somewhere in the middle.
Now last week we heard how the crowds in Jerusalem were jubilant and they praised Jesus as he entered Jerusalem on Palm Sunday. But during the week things started to go, well, things changed anyway. They changed drastically. The authorities, the Jewish authorities, the Pharisees and the Sadducees were becoming increasingly unhappy with Jesus. They didn't like how he questioned some of their laws, such as healing on the Sabbath. They didn't like the way he was gathering loads and loads of followers. Some of them enjoyed the respect they got, and Jesus was questioning this, and they probably felt a bit jealous, and they felt their position in society might crumble. So for many reasons, they wanted to get rid of Jesus, and they looked for ways all week to get rid of him. Let's hear from Phil now about what actually happened to Jesus on Good Friday.
Hi everybody, it's Phil here. Today I'm going to tell you the story about what happened on Good Friday. You might say, why is this good? The story, it doesn't sound good when you hear the details, and I'm going to tell you the whole thing. But the reason you know it's good is because in the end, Jesus saves us, and it's part of the happiest time of our lives. So it's a very good day because Jesus saves us. Now, you only know that because you know the ending, that is Easter Sunday. And that's okay that you know the ending. Lots of good stories are like that. If you're watching Superman or Spider-Man's origins and fighting and everything, you know they're going to save the day because they're the heroes. That's okay. If you're watching this movie Titanic, everybody who's watching it knows the ship sinks. And if you're watching a movie about D-Day, you know that the Allies win the war. These stories are not about what happened, but they're about how it happened and why. The story of Good Friday is like that. The point is that Jesus saved us. Hooray! And it was not easy. That's it. Let's hear the story. But today, I'm not going to read the story directly out of the Bible. I'm going to read it from a book called The Bible Explorer by Corinne McKenzie. I think this captures the story quite well. Let me just... So, Jesus and the disciples went to a garden called Gethsemane. "Sit here," he said, "while I go over there to sit and pray." He took Peter, James, and John with him. "I am troubled," he said. "Stay here and keep me company." Later, Judas Iscariot came up with a crowd of men. He greeted Jesus with a kiss, not a sign of love or friendship, but a prearranged signal to the enemies of Jesus who wanted to have Jesus arrested. The crowd of men arrested Jesus and led him away to the high priest's house. Jesus entered a mockery of a trial at Caiaphas's house. The witnesses' statements did not agree. They accused him of blasphemy because he told them the truth that he was the Son of God. They spat on his face. They mocked and jeered. Then Jesus was sent to Pilate, the Roman governor, who had a grand palace. Pilate could find no fault with him. He was sent to King Herod. King Herod questioned him and cruelly mocked him, and then sent him back to Pilate. Pilate wanted to release Jesus. He usually released a prisoner during the feast week. However, Pilate weakly gave in to public opinion. Barabbas, the robber, was released. Jesus was sent to be crucified. Jesus was led away to be crucified at Calvary, outside the city of Jerusalem. He was whipped, beaten, made fun of, and jeered at by the Roman soldiers. They forced him to wear a crown of thorns on his head, so that he was already bleeding and tired before he reached the crucifixion site. Jesus was then nailed to the cross by his hands and feet and left to hang there in terrible pain until he died. His suffering and death fulfilled a wonderful plan of salvation for his people. All sin must be punished by a holy God. The perfect Lord Jesus took the punishment for the sins of his people who trust in him. Even when he was being nailed to the cross, Jesus prayed to God, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." What love he showed. Two other men, both criminals, were crucified with Jesus, one on either side of him. One complained to Jesus, "If you really are Christ, why can't you save yourself and us?" The other man was indignant. "How can you speak like that? We deserve this punishment, but he has done nothing wrong." He turned to Jesus and said, "Remember me when you come to your kingdom." Jesus said, "Today you will be with me in heaven." This man believed in Jesus at the end of his life and received God's salvation. From 12 noon until 3 o'clock, darkness was over the whole land. Jesus was bearing the full punishment for the sin of all his people. In agony he called out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Just before he died, he shouted with a loud voice, "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." Then the big curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom. There was an earthquake, and the rocks were split in two. These miracles amazed the soldiers. "Certainly this man was the Son of God," they declared. So there you have it, the story of Good Friday, which only works because in 3 days it's Easter. So here's the point. Even on Good Friday, many believed. I can't wait till we hear the rest of the story. But spoiler alert, Jesus won. And so we're all saved. Hooray. Bye for now, everybody.
I wonder, if you've been naughty at home and you've caused an argument with your brother or sister, do your mum and dad get a bit cross and tell you have to go to bed early, or maybe not have pudding that evening as a punishment for what you have caused?
I remember when I was at school a long time ago, I did something quite naughty and I got into lots of trouble. I had to stay behind at break time when everyone else was up playing, and I had to write out lines over and over again.
It's a bit grim. Yeah.
That was my punishment.
Okay. Or maybe there's been times at home when you've been disobedient. Mum or dad have asked you to do something and you've stamped your foot and you said, "I'm not going to do that." And so your mum or dad have maybe sent you to the naughty step until you thought about your behaviour and said you're sorry and then agreed to do what they've asked.
So whenever we do something wrong, we get punished.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if we're big or small or good or bad people, we all get punished for doing things wrong. What if someone else came along and said, no, you don't have to, I'll do that for you. I'll do that punishment bit that you've deserved. You can go off and be free. How would you feel?
You know, this is exactly what Jesus did for us. He took on the most excruciating punishment. He died for us so that we do not have to be punished and live apart from God. He took on this punishment so that we could be forgiven, and one day we could go to live with him in heaven.
Let's all take some time just to be quiet. Give thanks to Jesus for dying for us. Tell him we're sorry for all the times we think or say or do wrong things. And let's ask God for his forgiveness.
And then I will finish with a prayer. Jesus, we are sorry for turning away from you and not living the way you would like us to. Please forgive us and help us to live the way you want us to live. Thank you for loving us so much that you took our punishment. Help us to understand more and help others to see your love, to see your forgiveness through us.
Amen.
Well, that's all we've got time for today, but we're going to see you again on Sunday. In fact, we're hoping that we're going to see some of you tomorrow at our Easter trail.
On Saturday.
Saturday. Can you remember the times, Robin?
10 o'clock in the morning until 12 o'clock lunchtime, and then after lunch, 2 o'clock.
That's correct.
Until 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
You don't have to arrive exactly at the beginning of 10 or 12 or 10 or 2. You can arrive any time during those 2 hours to do the Easter trail, and you're allowed to come with another family because you're allowed to meet in 2 groups now. So be lovely to see you.
Yeah. Let's finish with a song.
Yeah, but I'm just going to plug in for Sunday. We have got a special chef coming to show you how to make a celebratory meal on Sunday.
Okay.
So please do join us at 9 o'clock on Sunday morning.
Okay then, until a couple of days' time, Sunday, be seeing you soon. Let's finish with a song now.
Bye.
I lift your name on high. Lord, I love to sing your praises. I'm so glad you're in my life. I'm so glad you came to save us. You came from heaven to earth to show the way from the earth to the cross. My debt to pay from the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I love to sing your praises. I'm so glad you're in my life. I'm so glad you came to save us. You came from heaven to earth to show the way from the earth to the cross. My debt to pay from the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky. Lord, I lift your name on high. You came from heaven to earth to show the way from the earth to the cross. My debt to pay from the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky. Lord, I lift your